Peace be with you, everyone. Welcome to the channel. My name is Trevor. Very grateful to have you here. And today's video, I just want to do a quick and full review of this fragrance right here, Gentle Fluidity Silver from MAISON Francis Kurkdjian. So obviously the perfumer is Francis Kurkdjian. This is a 2019 release, and we're going to go over a brief overview of the fragrance, look at the notes and accords, talk about what it smells like in terms of real-world scent profiles, move into performance, projection, and popularity, take a look at taste, texture, and tone, and then round off with who, when, where, before I share with you my final ratings and the best discounters and price points to pick this one up at. So in terms of the overall accords, I think metallic is one thing that comes to mind. So the silver selling point on this fragrance is very much apparent. It does a good job of articulating what it set out to do. There's some musky overtones as well, a little bit of a woody nuance, some herbal facets, and the notes that really are prominent to me, although it's a rather simplistic breakdown, are going to be the musk, woods, juniper berry, and coriander. There's also some vanilla and nutmeg that bring the fragrance into a little bit of a spicy territory, and we'll get into that with some of the metaphors for this fragrance. So the first thing with regards to that spicy quality, it does have a little bit of a punch to it, and this fragrance is generally known as a gin and tonic fragrance. So the juniper berry note in here does a really good job of bringing that sour, tart, sweet facet of a gin and tonic to the table. It's not quite carbonated. There's no ginger or anything in here to give it that fizzy quality, but on the concept of that spiciness in terms of a gin and tonic, this does, one thing I could compare it to maybe is like a gin and tonic prepared with a McDonald's Sprite. So there's a little bit of a meme, or it's somewhat talked about that the Sprites at McDonald's are a little bit more spicy. They got a little bit more bite. They're a little bit more crisp than your average Sprite is going to be. So I feel like there's some semblance of that here in this fragrance. It definitely is like a gin and tonic with a little bit of a spicy bite to it. Other than that, this fragrance also has a very clean and fluffy, almost laundry type quality to it. So another thing that kind of an image that evokes for me with this fragrance is kind of like the cool side of a pillow, if that pillow were draped in a silk silver pillow sheet. So you get that fluffy nuance, you get a little bit of that metallic feel, that smooth, glassy quality that you would get from a silk pillow sheet. Just a lot of those color tones, and then that little bit of fluffiness and cleanliness from the musk. And then also, other than that, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like a styling gel or a hair gel. Not quite shower gel, it's not really blue in its scent profile, but maybe a clear shower gel. I've seen some people compare this to like a Gillette deodorant, the gel style deodorants, and that's a good way to picture this one. I think it does a really good job of having that clean, cleanly quality, and there is a little bit of a gelatinous textural feel to this one. We'll get into that later on in the texture breakdown. In terms of projection and performance, I get really good projection, almost beast mode off of this one for about the first 1 to 3 hours. It's pumping pretty hard, at least off of my skin, and it does a really good job of cutting through the humidity. And overall, the scent lasts after that big projection about 6 to 8 hours on my skin. So it performs all day. It's a great freshie for the spring and summertime. And the popularity of this fragrance, it is I don't want to say overhyped, it is hyped, and I think the hype is deserved. It does get me compliments whenever I wear it, so I think it is pretty astounding that something this unique in terms of scent profile does such a good job of being mass appealing. Definitely very few things on the market, if any, that smell like this. I don't even have any fragrances that I pulled up to compare this with, because it is such a unique scent profile. The only thing that I really have in my collection that's kind of in the same vein is Chanel's Platinum Egoiste, and that's only because they evoke a similar color tone, that being like the metallic or silver quality. And then in terms of the taste, texture, and tone, this is sweet, bitter, sour, tart, and metallic, like a little bit metallic, like if you put a nickel or a dime in your mouth, or if you cut the inside of your mouth and you get a little bit of that iron in your blood, there's a little bit of that metallic quality in here, maybe coming in from the coriander. A little bit of sweetness from some amber woods and vanilla, and then there's some sour bitterness coming in from the prominent juniper berry, which is the key player here. The texture, like I said earlier, has a little bit of this gelatinous quality, kind of like a hair gel or a styling gel. It's also very glassy. It has a very smooth quality about it, which can also be compared to a gel, like the surface of a gel. So it's a little bit glassy, smooth, a little bit fluffy as well. They get that pillow comparison because of the musks being so soft in here. Very laundry-esque. So glassy, fluffy, and gelatinous, I think, are probably some of the better textural feels that I could compare this to. Also a little bit sharp. The juniper in the opening is very piercing. So it's sharp, glassy, fluffy, and gelatinous, I think, would be good pictures in terms of the texture on this one. The tonality, it is very cold. It's slightly synthetic and linear, but the synthetics in here do a good job of presenting that quicksilver, liquid metal kind of sensation. So I don't detract from the fragrance for having those synthetic qualities. It adds to the overall delivery of what it's trying to do here, being like a fluid silver. So it's cold, a little synthetic, a little bit linear, but overall it's rather fun, I would say. It has a fun quality to it despite being well put together. And then that brings us into the who, when, and where. So the who, in terms of would wear this, I think this is great for any age. It's got that fun gin and tonic quality about it that makes it appropriate for somebody maybe a little bit more youthful, but the cleanliness in here and the well put together disciplined facet about this fragrance, I think, makes it great for somebody that's a little bit more reserved or austere. And so the when, I think this is a ideal office party fragrance. It has all the facets about clean, cleanly, and white silvery qualities in terms of the tone that it brings to the table, that it is great for an office, but also, like I said, that gin and tonic quality makes it great for an evening date night, I think, in the summertime as well, or an office party. So you're bringing these two worlds together. And I think somebody that's an ambivert, both extroverted and introverted, and can move fluidly between those two facets of personality, is going to be somebody that could really wear this with a great deal of harmony, I would say. So yeah, anybody of any age, definitely a semi-formal to more formal than casual, but works great. Like I said, an office party, I think, is a good wedding place for this fragrance. It's very down the middle in terms of all that. And this is definitely a spring and summer fragrance, although you can get away with it year-round. It could be a versatile signature for you. The juniper berry brings a cold ice cube refreshing quality to this that I think is perfect for the spring and summertime, and is just definitely one of my favorites for that warm season. And like I said, you could wear it as a date night because of the gin and tonic fun quality, but I think daytime is going to be the best place for this one. And my overall rating on this is I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. There's a lack of development in terms of the wearing experience from top, mid to dry down. Like I said, it's a little bit linear and a little bit synthetic, so I'm knocking off a little bit from there. So there's not really much of a wow factor. This is just like the best at what it does in terms of being like inoffensive and mass appealing at the same time. And so I'm just going to give it a 9 out of 10 ranking for that reason. And the best places I've seen to pick this one up at are going to be Fragrance By, Venba, and Aura Fragrance. All three of them generally have this one for right around the $180 or less price range, which is what I like to pay for my 70 mLs of MFKs. And that was my full review of Gentle Fluidity Silver. Let me know what your experience with this one is in the comment section down below if you've tried it out. And as always, I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end of the video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.